Hello, my loved ones. Hello, friends. Family of light. Home at Dr. AOSN. We're all related. I want to share a special message today. In that, one of our great spiritual indigenous tribal leaders, Leonard Peltier, the great warrior in behalf of the American Indian movement and civil rights movement of the 1970s. We're all Native people working for their civil rights to get their right to religious freedom. He has just been pardoned before Joe Biden left office. He pardoned him. President Biden pardoned Leonard Peltier after 50 years incarcerated. It's such a great, wonderful, amazing, and justice has been served. The fact that he has been released after 50 years. He is under supposedly house arrest, supposedly for the rest of his duration of his sentence, but that may be overturned shortly with all the injustices that were done through the trial and the miscarriage of justice that went on during that time because of the 2 FBI agents that were shot and killed on the Pine Ridge Reservation, 1975. But he is a free man. He's home, and he's with his family, and he gets to breathe, feel, and smell the beautiful new the earth, the homelands. So we're so happy for that. I did do a whole writing on this behalf. Came to me to guide, to honor this great event. First Nations Indigenous leader Leonard Peltier, who has spent 50 years behind bars for the unjust conviction of the shooting of 2 FBI agents in 1975 on the Lakota Pine Ridge Reservation, has just recently been pardoned by the then President Joe Biden before leaving office. Yet, as of now, he is subject to house arrest for the remainder of his 2 consecutive life sentences. Hopefully that can be transformed. I say unjust because an endless trail of injustices, lies, manipulation, racism has been shown to be positively evident beginning with his trial in 1977. Over all these years, a non-stop fight for Leonard Peltier's freedom has continued to the day of his pardon. Hundreds of thousands of awareness rallies, petitions, and fundraisers, letters to judges, parole boards have taken place non-stop since his incarceration in the late 1970s. During the tumultuous years of the Native American civil rights movement led by the powerful transformative American Indian movement formed in the early 1970s. The Native people of America had had enough of the poverty, racism, segregation, bad food, and control by the U.S. government, who had broken about 98% of all treaties signed with the mighty indigenous cultures of America. The people had had enough of reservation life, with them being put on the worst lands, barren of buffalo and wild game. 20 million bison were killed in approximately 20 years in order to make way for the greedy expansion westward via the railroad systems, much of it in search of the white man's yellow gold. The taking of Native American and Canadian lands had virtually enslaved, attempted genocide, and attempted eradication of the native population dwindled by 75%. The remaining tribal youth children were forced into boarding schools. mostly Catholic across the country, and severely punished for speaking their languages or practicing their creator relationship with all things, along with the thousands of unmarked graves being discovered in the last decade on the boarding school grounds in Canada. So sad. If you didn't know about that. They just kept finding them and finding them and finding them. And of course, all these missing children, all these decades and centuries, maybe, and that no one had the right to search. They kept it protected until recently. The church is up there. True story. They've been finding these unmarked graves and reburying these children in a sacred way. Like you do the sacred fire without end. The native people shall never end. As the American Indian movement rose to defend their oppressed people, many young native people joined and called forth their powerful sovereign warrior spirits and ancestral lineages to re-empower the red man's true freedom ways of life, to be and walk the lands as their forefathers' ancestors had for eons. Leonard Peltier was one such warrior who had ended up sacrificing and giving up his freedoms in a travesty of justice in order for the government to make an example out of one such amazing soul. He was held as a true political prisoner in his own country. I'm not going to go into the details of the corruption he faced at the hands of the U.S. and Dakota states' judicial systems. You can read it all, his trial for yourself. A thorough documentary called Video Incident at Oglala, produced many years ago, demonstrates the miscarriage of justice in the Peltier case. Also, a phenomenal movie called Thunderheart was made in the 1990s, portraying the truth of what was taking place throughout Indian country. A thorough explanation of Leonard Peltier's trial and conviction can be found many places on the web, such as whoisleonardpeltier.info. And that's where I looked up most of this information. If you do not know the story, please do an in-depth research of this important subject. Leonard's being contained, house arrest, but he is reportedly so very happy, as is his family and the entire endless heart of native and non-native people everywhere. We are all eternally grateful to the great spirits, true powers that be, and the forces of light, ex-President Joe Biden, and the true forces leadership behind the scenes for finally releasing Leonard Peltier, whom has been reported that he's been in failing health now at the age of 80. Got my fire pretty close, don't I? He is free to be home, feel, touch, and smell the native lands of the Mother Earth homelands. He has his sweat lodge in his privacy finally. I'm sure he will eventually host the elders and loved ones far and wide who would love to give him a heartfelt hug and handshake in celebration. There is still a long ways to go for total freedom, justice to be returned and bestowed on the original people of Turtle Island. May this long-awaited release of Leonard Peltier be foretelling of the possibility of true unity, harmony, and the mending of the sacred hoop of equality of all beings that was broken long ago. Please share this truth. The message is the hope that our Creator of one and all is showing us all that freedom and equality is the only way forward for our future generations to find the joy, happiness, abundant, sovereign life here on Mother Earth we all deserve without a doubt. In the subsequent decades, generations since Native people won their rights to religious freedom in 1978, traditional Native people, along with interracial people of all races, 4 races of people worldwide, have followed a sincere path of ancestral ceremonial teachings to the best of their abilities in very peaceful and honoring ways of the traditions, maintaining the purity of the lineages of the sacred Chanupa, peace pipe, and 7 rites of the Lakota, among many other ceremonial ways of all the different tribes. I, for one, am truly grateful for the elders that welcomed all of us back as part of the prophecy of mending the sacred hoop of the 4 colors of the medicine wheel of life. All the elders that I've studied with were what was called 4 race elders. They saw no color. So to this day, the culture is strong, the spirituality is strong, the Red Road, along with the use of the sacred plan allied medicines of the jungles and deserts as part of the ancient healing practices of inner and outer multi-level healing for body, mind, and soul, and the sacred medicines. It is widely accepted that a good part of the consciousness raising of these past decades is in direct connection to the deep, heartfelt, sacred ways of worship of the indigenous peoples of the world. They held the original instructions, as the elders have told us. That of living in deep harmony and reverence for all life, nature, elemental, and heart-based respect for one another. This peaceful commitment to healing and freeing the minds of the generations from the eras of trauma-based mind control, war, for the soul of humanity, has been the greatest gift of sovereign renewal for all beings everywhere. With its focus on life-affirming, harmonious family and community unity consciousness for all, from the tip of Alaska to the depths of South America, Grandfather Walsh Black Elk would say, we are all Indians, we are all Earth people returned and dedicated to returning our world to a paradise of love and to fulfill the great divine plan. With utmost respect for the people, the elders, the warriors for peace that have gone before us and paved a way for the new era, new paradigm, 5th dimension, golden age of peace. As the special children have returned, the 7th generation they are called, the starseeds, indigos, earth angels of youth are here now with their advanced DNA wisdom to walk with us forward as the army of light, peace, and rejuvenation for Mother Earth and all her inhabitants. Together we rise, stay the course, and with never-ending gratitude for the releasing of one of our great warriors, Leonard Peltier, may truth and justice prevail and freedom as the hallmark of a shining new era of equality, of love, over fear and doubt. Faith over fear, as we continue the upward spiral of ever-awakening DNA and heartfelt peace and prayer that transcends time and space. That nothing can stop what's coming. The peace, harmony, joy, celebration, new world, new earth. Our Creator's world is returning, and it's going to be the greatest era ever. This we are being promised from on high. May the celebrations begin for a returned warrior, and maybe justice for all unjustly incarcerated brothers and sisters worldwide, everywhere. Homitakuyo Awasen, we are all related.